Welcome to another episode of Port Charles Chat. I'm Mom.
And I'm Brandon.
Thank you so much for joining with us today.
Yes, thank you for joining us as always.
All right, so today we're going to talk about the week of December 1st through December 5th. The day of recording is December 7th of 2025. Brandon, are you ready to talk about an exciting week on General Hospital?
Mom, I'm ready. Our 73rd Port Charles chat.
Oh, wow. Yes, and today was a week like none other. And the fact that we had a lot going on this week. Let's start with Thanksgiving. First of all, it was Thanksgiving's in Port Charles. And Thanksgiving is a holiday I always look forward to watching on General Hospital. First and foremost, because of the Quartermains. This year there was a dinner, which is surprising. Unfortunately, the group did not think they should eat the dinner because it was so unheard of in the Quartermain Mansion to actually have food that's ready and edible to eat. So they did take the food to the local hospital to give to those in the hospital. Back at home, they had pizza like always, and once more, Ned sang the song that I always love, and which is, of course, "We Gather Together." Brandon, what were your thoughts of the Thanksgiving or the Quartermain Thanksgiving this year?
Well, Mom, I finally had a chance to see one. We didn't have the Thanksgiving. Last year, the only thing we had was a mention a few days later about an invisible, Scorpio Thanksgiving that we didn't see. So it's so nice to see the traditional Quartermain Thanksgiving and that there was a turkey and that nothing disastrous happened to it, despite many potentials that it could.
Yes. And I will say Thanksgiving actually went on a little longer than I thought. I actually have forgotten it was Thanksgiving Day. In regards to some of the other storylines that apparently occurred on the same day. But, once you have the Quartermain Thanksgiving, you kind of consider that the only Thanksgiving that goes on. But on the other side of town for Thanksgiving, we had Curtis and his family together. Unfortunately, Curtis was actually called into the police station on Thanksgiving Day. At the same time, his daughter found out some news that she was not expecting. So Trina actually overheard two of her relatives speaking and realized that her mother was having a baby. Her mother was not there. Portia was not there to defend herself or to give any explanation. However, Trina's kind of was upset to find out that her mother's having a baby and she did not know about it. Curtis was, like I mentioned, was taken down to the police station for questioning in regards to Drew, of the shooting of Drew. Jordan did go with him to the police station. They were not able to call legal counsel because they just weren't available. And Nathan actually took some time and asked Curtis questions and asked him some questions in regards to where he was at that time, what was he doing before and after, and asking about his alibi or lack of. During all of this, we do find out that Curtis was speaking to Selena Wu. Now, Curtis did not tell this to Nathan. He did share this with Jordan later, that he actually had decided that he was going to pay Selena Wu to shoot or kill, uh, uh, well, I should say to kill Drew. He later decided that that's something he did not want to do, and he did share that with Jordan. However, that still leaves him without an alibi at that time because the police don't know obviously, what he was doing. Brandon, were you surprised to see Selena Wu this day?
Yes, well, I know we were all sort of gasping at the intro when we saw her picture on it.
Yes, we were. We both sat together. I was off for some days this week, and I got a chance to see it live, and I was shocked to see her in the intro. And then we had to wonder, why is Selena there? Because we know she left town. So it was unexpected, but it was a nice unexpected. Any other thoughts, Brandon?
Yeah, I mean, it was nice to see her, even if it wasn't a flashback. And I thought what was interesting about that is that she's still supposedly out of town, and so they even addressed that Sidwell paid for her to be out of town, and that no one knows she's back in town. So is she still back in town now?
Yeah, it's a good question. We don't know what Selena's doing. And then we were also thrown off because we had another unexpected visitor come, or I should say, a townsperson who returned, and that's Kevin. So Kevin is now back, and he went to go see Laura. And it was very nice to see Kevin. Now, I think for those who watch us on a regular basis, you know that I watch Beyond the Gates also. And so I see Kevin slash Joey on a regular basis. And so, but it was so nice to see Kevin back and on General Hospital. Brandon, were you happy to see Kevin back?
Oh yes, I mean, whoever thought that he'd be back in for numerous episodes.
Yes, yes, and it looks like they're leading him into like a true storyline coming back. So it is nice to see that. But uh, but in their meeting together, Kevin and Laura do talk about the things that have occurred while Kevin was gone, and the first, of course, being Dalton's body that was found in her car. She does let him know that Sonny was also there as a witness, but she also and then later Sidwell comes over to see Laura, and while they do have a conversation, and Sidwell shows Laura pictures that he has of her with the body in the car, and also shows Sonny there also. And so later, Laura does reflect back to Kevin and let him know that Sidwell came by to see her rather. And then not only does Sidwell come, but we also have uh, oh gosh, I forgot his name. The other guy who was running for office.
Ezra Boyle.
Thank you. So not only do we have Sidwell that's there, but Boyle actually comes over also. And apparently Boyle is now going to act as the go-between between Sidwell and Laura. Laura did question that. She asked, "How can he do this when everyone knows we don't get along?" And Sidwell says, "Y'all will figure it out." So we've got Laura, who's basically being blackmailed. Now, not only do we have Laura being blackmailed, but we have Sidwell who goes to see Sonny later, and he decides he wants to blackmail Sonny too because he wants the peers. So Sidwell has just been busy for the last few days, just the threatening people. All right, Brandon, what's your thoughts of Sidwell coming through and threatening people?
I mean, maybe he realized that Drew's been taking his job of threatening people and that he needs to do it himself.
I guess so. I guess so. But we just see that Laura is in a little bit of a predicament here. All right. And now we've got not only do we have Sidwell out there and Boyle out there now, but we've got Willow and Drew who have decided to get married. Out of all these things going on, and this is, of course, Thanksgiving Day. Like I mentioned, this is the day that just seems to be going on. And they both get married. And the guests at the wedding, I will say, look pained to be there and they look pained that she is getting married. But she does go through with it. Willow does say that she will do anything for her children. So I think Willow thinks she's doing this for her kids. Brandon, your thoughts about the wedding?
Yeah, I definitely think that Drew was going to get more than he bargained for. It seems that Will truly does not love Drew, but wants to do everything for the kids. But although obviously we can see Michael's doing essentially the same thing outside the whole marrying Drew part. So shall be interesting to see. But I know uh, Nina's going to be questioning this for quite a while.
Yes, she will be. And I will say something odd that happened during the wedding is that Michael actually looked through the window and he watched the wedding as it was occurring. I don't think he stayed for the whole thing, but he was there for quite a bit of it. And after the wedding, he did go and he found Jacinda. And so they are now happy and friendly together. So now we're moving on to another part of Port Charles. Let's talk about Britt and Jason. Britt goes and she goes to the brown dog, cow, whatever. She's in the bar. And so she, Jason witnesses her being there. Now Cody's there at the same time. She does try to flirt with Cody, but Cody is really not having anything with it. Unfortunately, Molly does witness this, but Jason does go and he somewhat rescues Britt. He takes her from the bar. He takes her back to the apartment. She tries to give herself the shot, and she's not able to. But Jason is able to help her with that, and Jason does kind of put her in the bed, and he moves off to the side and he watches her sleep. So that was Britt and Jason, and now Jocelyn. Jocelyn is basically fed up with Brennan. She is still the WSB agent. Vaughn at this time is missing, or she thinks that she's been ghosted by Vaughn, or so she tells Trina later. and Brennan calls her in, and so she does speak to Brennan, and she admits to being the person who gives the address to the kids in regards to where Dalton's real laboratory is. But she is also a little concerned about Vaughn, and Brennan does say that Vaughn is someplace safe, and then he also says that he's ready to send her out if she does not follow the directions that he is given. All right, Brandon, I'm going to go into, I think, two more storylines, but did I leave anything out so far for what I've said?
For what you said, I don't think so.
All right, and it might be three more storylines. I'm going to go back to Laura real quick. Laura, in the midst of her issues that she has going on, has a bad dream. In her dream, she dreams about Cyrus and Esme. Once more, two other characters have returned that we were not expecting. Brandon, what were your thoughts when you saw Cyrus and Esme?
Well, Mom, I definitely was not expecting to see Cyrus, and so I felt it was interesting. Now, that's what it's like. Is this a dream? He seems a bit out of uh place here, but I mean, it seems so in Cyrus' character to just show up. So I thought it was really great. But seeing Esme walk down those stairs, I read the caption like a few seconds before she came down, and so it was so nice to sort of see her again. I know that she wasn't like the character you look forward to the most, like on a General Hospital. But it's so nice to sort of see these callbacks to Laura's enemies, so to speak, and that they want Laura to take accountability.
Yes, and so it was nice to see them back. I have always liked Cyrus, so I was kind of happy to see him back. But Esme, it was just a shock to see her. Alrighty, now let's move on to Rocco, Emma, and Sunny. I'm sorry, Emma and Geo go and they do find Dalton's lab. They do release the creatures that are there. There are dogs that are there who were supposed to be used for testing, and they bring the dogs back to Sunny's place. In the middle of all of that, Rocco and Dante have had a fight. So Rocco is at Sonny's house when the dogs arrive. And then, of all people, Rick is there too. Rick and Sonny are bonding together. So when Dante comes back later to kind of gather his son, he sees all the dogs, and Geo does have to admit where he found the dogs. They did ask for Dante to look the other way and not to act like a cop for this, but to act like a father. And he seems to be doing that somewhat. And the dogs are just all there. And it was a fun scene to kind of watch them with the dogs. Last thing, Portia and Nina, they get into a little bit of an altercation. And they get into an altercation because Nina is the one who did let the police know that Portia could possibly have something to do with Drew's shooting. And Ava's there also, but Portia and Nina have a little fight in the bathroom, and then they kind of walk off. And that, I think, are all the highlights of this week. Brandon, what did I leave out?
I have absolutely no idea. Oh, Molly is mad at Cody.
Yes, Molly is mad at Cody. She sure is, because she did walk in on them. I mean, she walked in on Cody dancing with Britt, unknowing that Britt was actually the one who was kind of leading them. But Cody did say no. Anything else that I left off?
I don't think so. A lot happened this week.
Yes, it was a very, very busy week. All right, so we're going to go on to our what we like to talk about, our characters of the week and things like that. And so for me, Brandon, there were two characters of the week that kind of stood out. The first one is Laura because, and I know I think I used Laura last week too, but I still think she's doing an exceptional job. So Laura is one of my characters of the week. And the other character of the week is Kevin. It was just so nice to see him, and it was refreshing to see him back too. And because they caught him up in a matter of minutes. And so to see his reaction to different things was just kind of fun. And then with Kevin, you never quite know what he's up to. So he does a good job of playing that character of I don't know what you're up to, but I'm listening to you, but I'm not sure what's going on. So those are my two characters of the week. What about for you, Brandon?
Oh, I mean, I definitely would have to agree. I would say that, I mean, I think everyone across the board did a great job, but definitely Laura had a lot more attention to her this week, and Kevin was certainly a major part of that.
Yes. All right. As for amusing scene, it is the dogs. I got a kick out of watching the reaction of Sonny and his little group with the dogs there. All right, Brandon, what was your amusing scene of the week?
Ooh, yes, I definitely love seeing. I mean, the dogs, especially the close-up reaction shots to them. But I'm gonna just have to say, Sonny and Rick all together. I mean, their whole interaction and spiel, especially Rick's reaction to all the dogs coming in. I definitely enjoyed that.
All right. And as for touching scenes of the week, I'm going back to Laura and Kevin because I thought they did a nice job of bonding together. But then Jason Spinelli had another nice conversation at the Brown dog slash cow or whatever the Brown is. But Jason Spinelli had a nice time, had a good conversation talking about Maxie. All right, Brandon, what were your touching scenes of the week?
Yes, I definitely say that alongside, Carly speaking to Felicia, and then I'd even say the heart-to-heart talk that Sonny and Rocco were having to. No, I mean Sonny and Rick were having with Rock. Yeah, Rocco and Gio, the siblings talking to each other, which I thought was sort of interesting dynamic.
Yeah, it was. It was. I didn't have any fast forward scenes this week. What about you?
No, not any fast forward.
All righty. And then this week to me there seemed to be some scenes that were just kind of missing. And so I'm going to go over a couple of them. The first one was Portia and Nina fighting. Yes, we did see that they got in a fight together, but I kind of wanted to see the fight, and they glossed over it very quickly. We just saw, I can't remember one of them leave, but I really would have liked to see them actually kind of doing a little bit of fighting there. What were your thoughts? Oh, and what were your thoughts about their fight, Brandon?
Yes, I definitely agree. I mean, it seemed like some pushing and shoving and hair pulling, and we just saw them leave, but we don't know what happened. I mean, was there some sort of altercation? It definitely seemed like it was intense, but I mean, the bathroom, was there anyone else in the bathroom? We don't know anything.
Yeah. All right. And then I want to know what happened to the dogs. I mean, we saw the dogs there, we saw the dogs disappear, but the dogs had to go somewhere. So I don't know where they went. So I would have loved to have them have a closure scene with the dogs. And then I also would have liked to see Emma and Gio actually breaking into the lab. We had so much build up into this lab. It would have been nice to actually see the lab and then to see the little doggies as they escaped the lab. So I think I would have liked to see them actually try to kind of maneuver a little bit. All right, Brandon, what other missing scenes occurred this week for you
Yeah, I mean,
or
we
did
don't
not
even
occur?
see. Yeah, I mean, Mom, we didn't even see the lab. We didn't hear about the lab. I mean, in my mind, like the lab's like in the second floor apartment somewhere. I mean, I don't know. We don't know anything about it. But in terms of missing scenes per se, gosh, I just had one a second to go. Um, well, one of them I'd say is why in the world is Bert getting herself this drunk? We know, of course, that she's scared out of her mind for Sidwell, but taking from that to her trying to get drunk at the Brown Dog Bar, like what happened in the meantime there?
Yeah, that is a good question. I cannot remember what happened last week in regards to what has made her so upset, except for, of course, seeing Dalton, and maybe that's the reaction she's having. I'm not sure, but yes, we are unclear about what happened there.
Yes, and so I mean, like I said, I'm sure that there's some other scene I was thinking about. I don't remember uh, at at this time what exactly that was, but yeah, there were a lot of things this week that I felt we sort of skipped past per se that I would have liked to have seen.
Yes. All right, and Brandon, I have a lot of welcome backs this week. First of all, welcome back, Kevin. Welcome back, Selena. Welcome back, Esme, Cyrus. I would even say Kai, Ace, Valentine, Ned. Ned's been missing for about a week now. Leo and Olivia. And so we had a whole group of people who have not been seen in quite a while. So welcome back to all of you guys. Did I leave one out, Bran?
I'm sure you did. I don't know what that is though. I mean, there are quite a lot of people coming back this week. And yeah, I mean, maybe this is the week of the budget of everyone's allowed to be here this week.
I guess so. And then we have some where are yous. I mean, and we know for storyline purposes where we've been told they are, but we still miss them. Vaughn, he's somewhere. Tracy and Anna. Those are the three that are missing for me that I need back. And Diane is missing too. So so we've got four people missing so far. Oh, and Liesel. I have a little note down here about Liesel. Liesel did come back. I think she was back last week, and then she was supposed to go to not Brit. She was supposed to go to the wedding of Willow, but I don't remember seeing her there. So for me, Liesel's missing. All right, and now we're getting down to what I asked, which question I answer each week. Who shot Drew? And so, as you know me, I change on a regular basis. So I think I've changed again. So for right now, I am going to say it is Willow or Portia. Portia is pretty consistent in what I've said previously as part two. Willow, because during the wedding itself, one of the things that I thought was interesting was that Michael looked in on it, and it was and watching him stare at what was going on made me think they were kind of foreshadowing or even going, I should say, maybe foreshadowing is not the right word, but maybe they are reflecting back on how it may have been when Willow shot Drew. That's just a thought that I had while I watched the scene. And then also, Willow's hair was all frizzy and everything. And as she was getting married, and I thought about the shadow that was there and whether or not they were trying to give the audience a clue in this is how it could have happened. Portia, just because Portia's just all over the place. And so I still think Portia is a contender. Now, all this is subject to change for me next week, but that's what I think of as of today. All right, Brandon, your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. Well, first and foremost, I want to go back to the missing people and the welcome back. So we're also welcoming back Marshall Ashford.
Oh, yes. All right, I wrote it down.
Yes, they had said that TJ was working or something like that, which is why he couldn't be there. And then back to the whole Drew shooting. I definitely think that it would be Willow, based off of how they're framing that, and it was something about the fire because there was. I remember Drew had a little fire going or whatever when he was shot, but something about like the crackling of everything that just made me think. I wonder if this is going to remind Willow or be some sort of reminder. They did have the little flashback where she remembered that she's not in love um, with Drew. We don't know if that was for her sake or for our sake. I'm trying to remember that, but certainly thought it was interesting. But yeah, I'm thinking it's her. But the question is for Selena Wu, since she says she has a perfect person, did she call up this perfect person anyway? But I think the timeline shows that the whole time of this meeting was when Drew was shot, give or take. So I know that wouldn't have quite worked out, I think, if I understand the timeline correctly. But since she has a perfect person for it.
Yeah, and then Willow has said over and over again she will do anything for her children. And so I think she would do something to Drew for her children because that's her ultimate goal is to get the children back.
But yeah, so definitely quite interesting to see where they go with that. I don't rule Portia out of having done something stupid. I just don't know if this is something stupid that she did.
Yep, true. All right, and then I have a new character. A new character. I have a new category that I want to talk about, Brandon. And this one is I wish, meaning that I kind of there's when watching the all right, Brandon. And I have a new category that I'd like to present. This is called I Wish, meaning that sometimes soap opera people just do, or characters do things that is just goofy, and you watch it and you're like, oh gosh, why didn't you just do this instead? So in this case, my I wish is I wish that Laura had called the police when she found Dalton. That would have just saved all of this trouble. And so that is my I wish for this week. All right, Brandon, I know this is new. Is there an I wish that you have?
Well, first of all, I was getting quite excited when you were I thought, going to announce a new character. I was about to say, how'd you get this new character? But yeah. So remind me, what is the I guess the requirements of this category?
Well, it's more so if the character had done one thing differently, then or said something differently, then we wouldn't be going through all this. And so for me, like I said, I think it's Laura, because if Laura had just called the police when she found Dalton in the car, then she wouldn't be blackmailed by Sidwell right now. She wouldn't have taken, poor Sonny wouldn't be having an issue. This just would have been solved. So the question is, do you have an I wish that maybe happened within the last week or so?
I wish Sonny had decided to sell his peers anyway.
Yeah, I guess if he had done that, then we wouldn't have to worry about it. That's true. Because Sonny could have other peers.
Yeah, like they explained why Sidwell can't have those peers. Um, because that's where all the legal stuff is, but Sonny claims that he does not use his peers for anything illegal anymore. I guess he does that elsewhere. So I don't know why he needs these peers. I mean, and who says he has to sell to Sidwell? I mean, he can sell to someone else.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too. Yeah, so we both have two I wishes. And then I have one other category for us. It's not necessarily new, I've done this before, but general predictions. And so I have a couple predictions that I have. My predictions are always subject to change. It's just based on my whim at the time. So for right now, we're trying to figure out who, of course, Sidwell is the head of the operation in regards to Sidwell. Sidwell has said that he is reporting to someone, but we don't know who that someone is or who he's getting direction from. And so my thought when I saw Kevin walk in was, I wonder if Kevin is the head of Sidwell's operation. And I say that because the pills, not the medicine that Britt is receiving is from someone whose initial is with a C. Well, we know this is Kevin Collins. Well, or if they want to go back to Ryan Chamberlain, whichever, there's a C there. Um, we have Kevin, who actually did have the brain of, if I remember correctly, he actually had the brain of oh gosh, I forgot his
Cesar
name.
Faison.
Thank you. So anyway, so Kevin actually had the brain of Cesar Faison, and so he would actually know a little something about Cesar. And then and then what if he does? And Kevin would know something about cold fusion. I guess I don't know what cold fusion is, but he's a doctor. He would know something about this. So, so Kevin could actually be the one who's running all of this. And, because he's at the hospital, maybe he wanted to be in charge and they didn't let him be in charge. So this is his way of being in charge. I don't know. But I think that Kevin could very easily be the one who's in charge of all of this. And if you watch the way Laura has told him everything, he's just kind of taking it in and he's trying to reason with her like a psychologist would do. So I'm thinking that Kevin could be the one in charge. However, like I said, this is based upon today, subject to change for tomorrow. All right, Brandon, do you have any general predictions?
Well, I definitely agree that Kevin or Ryan Chamberlain, whatever you'd like to say, is probably in charge, near in charge, something like that. Um, and if it's not him, then I mean, I think a pretty cool person would be Jordan. But um, well, actually, Jordan wouldn't do. Portia, I think, would be a more interesting person. And I did have to look up whatever cold fusion is. I like that she believed that all doctors should know what this fusion stuff is. So I looked it up. It is a hypothesized type of nuclear reaction that would occur at room temperature.
Oh, then I'm sorry. Then as a doctor, they may not know that. So I guess because we see Britt working on whatever she's doing, and the other dude was using animals, Dalton was using animals. I thought it was something medical. I don't know. Anyway, so sorry about that, guys, and who I offended about cold fusion. But But anyway, that would be my thought for the day. Any other thoughts, Brandon?
But I mean, but what's interesting is they briefly addressed Professor Dalton's lab, and there's no evidence of cold fusion stuff happening. So what's the possibility that he was never doing cold fusion to begin with? I mean, there's no evidence supporting this.
Yep, that's true too. And the person who saw the information would be interesting is was Danny saw the paperwork. Of course, he doesn't know what it means. So it'd be interesting to see if someone kind of would hypnotize him to see if he remembers anything. That would be Kevin who could do that.
Don't give any ideas to the writers.
Yes. All right. So we thank everybody for watching today.
Yes, we definitely do. Oh, and Mom, I did have one other thing.
Yes, sir.
So I was going to say, just as another note, since we're speaking about like all of what's going on, is we have the whole Brennan situation. He is trying to get down after Jocelyn, and that he wants cold fusion, or the WSB wants cold fusion for themselves.
Yeah, he did mention that. I still don't think Brennan is the bad guy. I guess he could be, but I don't think he is. I think that he is trying to find the bad guy. At least in my mind, that's what I think he is at this moment.
Well, Mom, I did have a thought about that.
Okay.
My thought is that he is a good guy, or at least thinks he's the good guy, but unknowingly working for the bad guy, in the sense of maybe, let's say, whoever Brennan's boss is actually a bad guy, but nobody knows except for, well, whoever that guy is. So, for instance, oh, because, Valentine's out.
Oh yeah, we forgot about Valentine. Yeah, yes, Valentine is out. We know Valentine was Pike Man, whatever that was, but surely Valentine is not in charge of cold fusion. Also, I don't know. So we'll see. All right. Any other thoughts, Brandon?
No, I mean, I definitely. Do we have Valentine on our welcome back list?
We do have them on the welcome back list.
Okay, I know we had a lot of people up there on that list. Do you think we'll have any more interesting welcome backs within this next week?
Within the next, I would say before the end of December, I think we'll have another interesting welcome back. Just my thoughts.
Who do you want to be welcome back?
I don't even know, but that we'll have to see, won't we?
Yes, we definitely will. I do hope that we do get to see Terry at some point before this year's over.
Yeah, I hope so too, because her partner's not doing well. So her
Yeah.
partner meaning Portia. Yes.
But yes, we'll definitely have to wait and see. But Mom, I always love doing this with you.
I'm same here. Thank you guys for listening and humoring us by listening to the whole thing. And we will see you next time. Have a great day, everybody.
And we'll see you then.
Bye bye.